Alright, so back home I guess. Eastern Europe, a bunch of countries, some call themselves Central Europe, some say Eastern Europe is only the post-Soviet area. But let's be real, you cannot trick the culture. If Soviets haven't stepped foot on your land, and you're well in eastern part of Europe, then communism surely did. Poland, Czechoslovakia, Bulgaria, Hungary, Romania, Albania, shit, none of them were in Soviet Union, but they are all considered communist bloc, aka Soviet bloc, which means although most of those countries are a long way into Europeanization, we still vary in pretty much the same qualities, traditions, terms, which means our old guys, previous generation is pretty much the same in all of communist bloc countries, and we are pretty much the same in all of communist bloc countries. An example, what do people do with old stuff in Western Europe? Doesn't really matter what it is. Furniture, clothes, doesn't matter. What do they do when they have a new replacement? Throw the old one away. What do we do in Eastern Europe? Keep it. Even when we have a newer, better replacement, we don't throw the old one away. Instead, we store it somewhere. In a garage, behind a sofa, under a sofa, on a balcony, wherever. But not in the damn trash. Dude, when I go to my grandpa's garage, I feel like I'm that guy from Night at the Museum. There are old clothes, for sure some old closets, from Soviet times of course. Just a bunch of small things. Some of them my grandpa maybe uses. Some, but most of them never plus never. And it's not bad, I'm not saying my grandpa does something wrong. That's just part of our mentality, that nothing should go to trash. Maybe you'll need it someday. Maybe it will be useful in the future. So not in the freaking trash. No. And that's just the first thing that came to my mind. But there is so much more. Like saving money. Always for something. Not for this then for that. Yeah, this trend slightly goes away with the coming of the new generation. I think you know about all that stuff that Gen Z cannot afford to buy a house. And it's not because the salaries got so low relative to prices. Gen Z just spends, not gonna lie, wastes a lot more than our parents and grandparents did. Going there, going here, buying expensive stuff right freaking now. That's what Gen Z does. Just think how much people you've seen with an expensive ass phone. You think they all print so much more cash than their parents did that they can afford to buy that iPhone 17 Pro Max Ultra Super? No, they just don't save money for nothing. They spend now. And this trend also came to Eastern Europe because of the internet and being for real. People nowadays grow more on the content they consume. So if the content is pretty much the same all over the globe, the people are also going to be pretty much similar. So with Gen Z becoming the main generation, the cultural difference between Eastern Europe and Western world is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But we still can look at our parents and even more on our grandparents. They were saving a lot. And of course it was this way all over the world. But in Eastern Europe, people were saving up much more than Western folks ever did. Eastern Europeans didn't save money just for themselves to buy a house and live freely and chill there. No. Saving for house is one part. Saving for education of kids is another. And if you think like, oh, saving for education is just like in Western countries, just look at United States of America. Listen further. After kids' graduation, even before that, parents save to buy their child the house. And it doesn't stop. It goes along pretty much their entire lives. It's not like kids cannot afford to buy a house for themselves. Maybe it will take a year or two longer, but if the kids want to, they can do it. But parents will save anyway, because essentially it's not saving for that house. It's just about saving up for saving up because money needs to be saved up. That's how it goes. I'm not saying it's better to spend all the money instantly on those small things like Gen Z does right now, but saving up all your money and living poor, it's not the way either. Gotta have balance when it comes to stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. A couple differences between Eastern Europe and the Western world. Thanks for watching. Boom boom. See ya.